everybody and welcome to today's video. So in today's video this is going to be my personal review on the Loveshing foldable grow lights. So that's these lights that you can see straight ahead. I have 2 per shelf. So I've been using these grow lights since the end of June of this year, so about 4 months, and I've had mixed results. So now we're entering the dormant season, I thought it would be a good opportunity to do the review now. So when I started using these lights, I did have them sat higher up, and as the weeks went by I lowered them down. So now currently it's about 7 to 8 inches from the light source to the canopy of the cactus plants. But now I want to increase the distance between the lights and the cactus to replicate less sunlight at this time of year. So this bottom shelf has the lights sat higher up, so I shall do the same thing for this one and this one. So currently I'm turning the lights on for about 5 to 6 hours a day now, because obviously there's less light, less sunlight. So this review is based on my personal experience of using these particular grow lights, and specifically for growing cacti and some succulents. So it's mainly cactus plants that I've been growing under these lights. So I'll be discussing the positive and negative effects of these grow lights and showing you my cactus plants. Please note that this is my personal experience based on the sorts of cactus plants that I'm growing. So let's have a quick look at the plants on the shelf. So one of my larger ASTROPHYTUMs has flowered non-stop this season. Particularly this one here, this one non-stop flowered. It encouraged the buds to flower, and it also produced brand new buds and went on to flower. This ASTROPHYTUM here, I bought this later on in the growing season, but that encouraged the existing buds to flower. You can see there the flower dying back. So most of the cactus plants on this shelf are hard-skinned cactus, very globose or globular or round in shape. Most of these cactus plants have been growing fine under this grow light, including that tall columnar one at the back, which I've had for about 5 years or so. That showed no ill effects of being under these lights. However, you might have spotted these pointy ones at the front. Let's take a closer look. These 3 here are a Mediolabivia species. I think they have like scarlet red flowers. I've only had these since June, and you can already see these don't seem to be doing very well under these grow lights. They're looking very pointy and have etiolated growth or stretching out towards the light source. This could be because they're not in the right position, they're not receiving enough light, they're not close enough to the light, or it's not the right kind of light. Whichever reason, they are not doing well under these lights. Just behind, here's a Sulco Rebutia. This one was a nice rounded shape, and the offsets are even starting to etiolate and the tip of the main cactus is etiolating, so that hasn't done well under these lights either. But everything else on the shelf has been perfectly fine. Some of them haven't flowered whilst others have, but as I said before, I've only been using these lights since the end of June, so I don't think I've really had the benefit of using them from the start of the growing season. This is a Mammillaria senalis, and this has been fantastic under the lights. It's grown new offsets along with the ones that it already had when I got the cactus, and this one has showed no signs of etiolation, so it's done really well, and I've only had this one since May. So there's some more around the sides. So moving on down to the next shelf, I'll just do a quick show of the cactus plants. So most of the cactus on this shelf have done fine, but there's some more examples of cactus with etiolated growth. Let's take a look. So this cactus is a Robusta robusta spinner, and when I received this it was a nice clump, nice and rounded and beautiful spines and densely spined. So I've only had this since June. So you can see how the tip has now started to turn pointy and it's stretching out and elongating, and even the spines look different. This Robusta flowered for me profusely. So this one just behind it is a Robusta pulvernosa, and this again, when I got this, it was a nice little clump, rounded, and look at that one, that's even worse. That's really badly stretching out. Here's another example of etiolated growth. This one is a Lobivia. And it's obvious to see where the etiolation has started on this one. This one did flower for me as well. So there's some more examples just over here. These are Alostera robusta spinner, and these aren't as bad, but they do show light signs of stretching out towards the growth, particularly those two at the front, not so much the smaller one at the back. But however, these did flower extremely well continuously since I've had them since June. This Matacana Madisinorum forma albiflora, which is the white flowering variety, has budded and flowered under this grow light. It's still got the seed pod attached there, which is maturing. This one's done really well under the grow light. This is also a Matacana, and this is one I've had for quite a while now, and this hasn't shown any problems being under the light, so that's doing rather well. So this one is a Gymnocalcium stellatum obductum, and this flowered for me non-stop, and it had buds on it when I bought it back in June. Got this one from the cactus shed, and when I very first got it, it did have some light brown patches on it, and it was okay for a little while, but then it just suddenly started to get worse. But it has been flowering non-stop, and the buds that were already there, they went on to flower, and then it grew new buds, and those flowered as well. So I'll put up some pictures of when it was in flower and in bud. This cactus at the back is pretty obvious. That one started to etiolate, and you can see where it started from, just from here. This one is a Hilda Wintera hybrid called Transons Gluck. And if you look at the base, you can see a brown mark where it's splitted. This was originally outside in my greenhouse, and then during the storm Dennis, it got pretty much battered, absorbed lots of rainwater, so it split. It recovered, started to grow, and then it's just ever since been spindly. So not sure whether it's meant to be doing this. If you look here, I have a Hilda Wintera Cola di Manonis, which is the monkey tail cactus. It's behind my net curtain, and as you can see, it's very pendulous. So coming back to this one, I'm not sure whether this is in the transition mode of preparing to become a hanging cactus, or whether it is starting to etiolate as well. So I might have to chop that one off and position that somewhere else. So here's a flower bud here on a Gymnocalaceum, and I've been waiting for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks for this bud. And in the last couple of weeks or so, the tip of it is starting to get bigger, it's pinker, and the stem of the flower is like a yellowy white colour. So it'll be interesting to see if this flowers, what it's going to look like. There were 3 buds on here, but 2 of them just fell off. I woke up the next day and they were just fallen off of the plants. So at the bottom of the shelf, I've got some more examples of cactus plants that are etiolating under these lights. So here we have a Mediolabivia, and this was a beautiful little cactus. It was very rounded and clumping, and it had a magnificently beautiful orange flower. So I will put up a photo of when this was in flower for me earlier on in the year. So I've only had this cactus since May, and as you can see now, it's really etiolating, and it's rather pointed, triangular at the tips. So this one's been affected quite badly, and it's directly under the grow light as well, so it's not that it's not in the right position. So this one really hasn't been performing very well under this light. So here we have Rebutia, Alostera, Heliosa, V. condorensis, and these I rescued from my greenhouse. They were under the mud in the rainwater, but they've both survived. They do have battle scars and they sent off offsets. And now look, they are starting to stretch out. They're not so bad as some of the other cactus I've shown you, but they are still etiolating. So this one here, straight in the centre of the screen, is a Labivia. This one's got some signs of etiolation, but it's not as bad. Looks a bit of a funny colour. But if you look at all the other cactus plants, they're absolutely fine under this light. Some of them I've had longer than others, and they seem to be benefiting from under the lights, although not all of them have flowered. So overall, I really like these lights, and I would highly recommend them. So the majority of my cactus plants have done really well under these grow lights, apart from the ones that I've shown you in these examples, which are showing etiolated or stretched out growth. Despite them growing like that, they have all flowered profusely under these grow lights, except they are stretching out to the light. So these cactus plants have not really enjoyed these grow lights in terms of their actual growth. So to summarise, the cactus plants that haven't done well out of my collection are the Rebutia, the Alostera (Rebutia), Mediolabivia, Labivia, and Sulcorebutia. Now the Alostera (Rebutia) and the Sulcorebutia haven't been as bad, but they have all etiolated in their growth. So all the other cactus plants that you see here have been supported in their basic growth requirements being under these lights, although not necessarily have all flowered. So the positives have basically been, they've been excellent for flowering of some genus. Epiphytic cactus do very well set to the side of these lights, not directly under it because they don't want intense light. So they'll be very happy set off to the side. Euphorbia do really well under these grow lights. I've not seen any ill effects from them being under the lights. So ASTROPHYTUM, Gymnocalaceum, Euphorbia, quite a lot of the Mammillaria, Echinopsis, Matacana, and basically all of the harder skinned, globose, globular, rounded types of cactus have done excellently. Also Stenocactus, Ferrocactus, Cereus, Parodia, Notocactus, Turbinicarpus, Apuntia, Fradia, Melocactus, Wiginsia, Espostoa, Oreocereus, Echinocereus, Obregonia. So I have to grow all my cactus plants indoors, but if you just want these grow lights just purely for overwintering your cactus, they will be absolutely fine. So they're very affordable grow lights, and they use about 30 watts of actual power from the wall per light, and they are meant to give out about 150 watts in terms of brightness or lumens. So you're only consuming 30 watts of power to produce an LED light which gives off the equivalent of 150 watt brightness. So I'd highly recommend these if you weren't considering on buying these for cactus plants and you just want them for your everyday house plants or very green and leafy plants. I would highly recommend this grow light. Okay, so I'm just going to end the video by showing you quickly some cactus plants that I've bought recently, but I haven't actually done a video about them yet. So I'll just add that into this video. So these cactus plants that I'm about to show you, I've bought within the last few weeks, and some of them in the last week or so. So let's take a look. So this one is a Gymnocalaceum ocotoreni, and this is one of my favourite Gymnocalaceums. This one is Gymnocalaceum prochaskianum. It's got a grey body, quite a squat cactus, and it sinks down and retracts into the soil. These have got really large tap roots, so they're very rot prone, so you have to be very careful with their watering. This one is Copiapoa cinerea tenebrosa. Beautiful dark black spines. This one here I got from Sainsbury's and it cost me £3, and it's possibly a type of Rabutia. This one is Matacana cranii. Cactus matidae, which has a purple flower. That's the reason why I bought this one. You don't often get purple flowers. So these are just currently sat under the clip grow lights, and I've started repotting them. I've done this one and this one, but the others are currently still in their original nursery pots. So they're in 6cm pots. So this next cactus my mum gave to me, it's in a 5cm pot, and it's a little baby. So these were offered for free outside somebody's house. So she took all of them, gave one to me, one to my sister, and she kept the other one. So I haven't repotted it yet, I'm just going to leave it now for the winter. So this is a new one, bought in the last week or so, also from Sainsbury's for £3. Tabinicarpus panarotoi, which is beautiful. So the Astrophytum you can see straight ahead is a new cactus plant. If you look at the label, you can see I only got this one the other day. And this was a rescue cactus. And the seller said it just needed some TLC. So I thought, I'm going to buy this one. I want to rescue him. And this is an Astrophytum myriostigma nudum. So if you look at the base of the cactus in between the ribs, you can see there was some splitting there. That seems to have calloused and healed, so I don't think there will be any more problems with that. So if you look at the skin, it does have some patchy coloration, some slight browning and pale white patchiness. And it also has the odd scar due to age of the cactus, but I think perhaps maybe it suffered some cold or frost damage at some point. So it does have a flower bud there, but that won't be opening now until next year. So when I received the cactus, it didn't look like it had been repotted for perhaps 3 or 4 years. So I took off all the old soil, combed out the roots, and took off any dead roots or roots that were breaking away. Then I shortened the roots with scissors, and I've potted it up into some very dry potting mix, very free draining, gritty, and it's basically just now going to sit there and overwinter until next spring, and hopefully it should bounce back. And it's currently in a 9.5 centimetre diameter pot. So it's quite a nice sized cactus. This one I got the other week. I bought this one because I already have one. And it's started to grow a nice little baby at the bottom now. And there's a little baby coming out from the base. And a smaller one from the side. So I really like this cactus, so when I saw this one I thought, oh, I'm going to get another one. So this one has got a couple of fruits in there, now surrounded by like a fluffy stuff. So I haven't repotted any of these cactus, so I'll be doing that next year. So here in the tray I've got some more new cactus. These are my most recent purchase, and they all cost £3 each. And the 4 small ones on the left hand side were from Sainsbury's, and the other 5 are from Wilko. So we've got Echinopsis here, which has got lots and lots and lots of pups or babies or offsets, whatever you want to call them. Here's the other one. Look at the spines, really short, stubby, browny red coloured spines. And the baby cactus plants, or the offsets, have rather different spines when they're younger, so they don't represent the adult cactus at the moment. So sometimes when you have a young cactus, it's difficult to identify. Then we have this columnar one here, which is a nice bluey colour with golden spines. An Echinopsis subdenudata. And there's this one here with a clump of 3, which I suspect they all have their own roots. And they have been flowering. I took these 2 flower heads off. They're died back. So that will help me identify this one. This one is very spiky. This is from Sainsbury's, and they come in these outer terracotta pots which are glazed. They have a cactus design on them, which is really pretty. And then we have Gymnocalaceum. I think this might be Rotundulum. I'm not too sure. Another Gymnocalaceum. So all of these ones are in 5.5 centimetre pots. So this one's got a beautiful green coloration. And a red to green coloured variety here. Also a Gymnocalaceum. So, thank you for watching. Bye!